And I want you to understand as you finish reading it. This is very recent. This is one of these writers that I follow in many different places. He produces good content and he's a techie guy. And I just loved the words that he was using when he was saying generative AI has been driven by the simplicity of new user interfaces for creating high quality text, graphics, and videos in a matter of seconds. Perhaps, in my opinion, that's the impact, and that's why people are driving crazy and talking about this everywhere. But together with that, I really need to tell you that this debate started with more force many years ago, as numerous researchers have already been positioning the role, and now I'm focusing only in language learning, although we are going to make references to artificial intelligence in general, but the purpose of this is to situate you guys into language learning as such. So a lot of researchers, you see some of the references on the screen, who have really decided and highlighted the importance and benefits of combining technologies with the power of teaching and learning in the current digital society. Levi and Hubbard, Chappell, which is from the American, Levi and Hubbard are from the European side of Cole, Chappell and Jamison from the American side, potential writers that you would love to read about, and the many others. Beatty, Reinders, and White, Reinders, A.O. Reinders from Australia, and many other researchers have for years talked about the power of technologies. However, today we're going to be focusing on these elements as many others. Why bringing code to the classrooms, right? And why bringing this section or small trend of call it artificial intelligence, yeah, into the classrooms. Today, we're going to be focusing at both teachers and students' perspectives. And in order to do this, I wanted to start with with another reflection, but without or by placing an special role on the quote or on the premise that Carol Chappell from the American Trend stated early, I mean, like it's already 20 years ago. I just realized the day of today's date. The existing linkage between technology and language should encourage all language professionals to reflect upon the ways in which technology models and it changes the profession of English language teaching in particular and applied linguistics as a whole, right? So 20 years ago, Carol Chappell, states that we need to really make some moves in order to adapt or adopt, that would be the dilemma, uh, the technologies into our language classroom. So here it goes. The first question of our conversation. Do you think that our role is changing? Yeah. Focus on the students and teachers role. Do you think that it's changing? And I'm happy to open the discussion. Okay, who wants to share a bit uh, on this reflection? I have stop sharing so I can see whoever who wants to interact. Do you think that our role is changing, guys? Those of you who have already started to use, I heard Hugo mentioning that some students and some of you have started, implementing with many different things. So I would love to hear your ideas. Do you think that your role as a teacher or as a student is changing with the adoption, usage of these technologies? Don't be shy.
Let's see if any student wants to answer.
Yeah, let's go. They are very shy. They need a snack.
Yeah, there's somebody raising their hand, Valentina.
Yeah, actually, Valentina, go ahead, Valentina. I'd love to hear you.
Okay, so hi everyone. Well, I think it is. It is changing, but in a positive way. I think that sometimes we are like reacios to change
Reluctant,
the, yeah,
reluctant.
to change the things that we are used to. But these tools help us to learn faster, to understand faster, to create plans that are specifically made for each person, to have keys, to develop a good presentation, a good essay, everything like that. If you use it wisely, I think you can save time, you can structure things differently in a good way. So I think it is changing because before, as students, we had to do everything on our own, and it was really difficult to get information, and we had to go to libraries, and we had to basically ask for the references and all of that. Here we only a click away from getting that information without having to move. It's more accessible, it's so much faster, and all of that.
Right. Thank you, Valentina. So you're very optimistic about its usage, right? That's the main point. And if you, I love what you said when you said if you use it wisely, that is, have a truly potential uh, insight that you have. I don't know if any other person. I stopped sharing and started sharing again. Is there any other comment in the chat? I heard a
There's
buzz.
there's David Alejandro raising his hand. So
Thank
David,
you, David. Yeah, let's move on with David and then let's continue. David, thank you. Go ahead.
All right. Hello. Can you hear me well?
Yes,
Or do I have any echo? No? Okay.
yeah, I can see you clearly.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think also students' role may be changing. I mean, the teacher's role can be changing also to a more mediating or mediator kind of role.
Hmm.
And finding the right resources and a race against the pace of the technology. When you think you got it, then there's Geniality for presentations, and when you think you got that, then there's QR scanning, and then there's this right AI chat with a scope that I think none of us imagined. I was just testing this morning the Google Bard and also the Bing chat. I was reluctant to try Bing, and I tried it, and I loved it. I was like, wow, it's smart.
Yeah, I know. There is
So
more every day, right?
right. So I think it's hard to keep up with these advances. So it's our role will be to try to keep up and find
Yeah,
creative ways of using all this technology, and to let students also become more empowered and to find I mean to find their own taste and their own pace, and to know how to use these tools so that the class time becomes only what humans need humans for, right? So
yeah.
let
It's a
machines do their
human-centered
thing.
interaction rather than a system-centered interaction, if we want to put it in that way.
Yes, I think that's how we should see things, and also in
Yeah.
a world that depend that needs efficiency, and that is always faster and faster. I think that the class time should be dedicated to human interaction
I
more
love
than
that. I love
machine.
that, and definitely I'm in agreement. Thank you, David, for your ideas. I think that this poses many challenges, and we're gonna be discussing the kind of challenges that we're gonna be tackling. But in regards to what you were mentioning, David, I guess that our ability to refine the curriculum and the syllabus and the really hidden agenda that happens inside the classroom, because not everything is the syllabus, as you know. um, uh, has to be reconceptualized, right? Has to be repositioned. And it's one of the main arguments that I had in order to be effective and efficient and in order to keep motivating the students. As you said, every day there is a new thing. And when you think you master it, there is another new thing. And if, the other day I was listening to a podcast, and it's one of my favorite podcasts in Spotify, and it's called El Primer Café. I recommend you. I've listened to that podcast on artificial intelligence twice, and the experts that were interviewed came from different backgrounds, not only the engineering background, and they were there was even a professor on film and communication who was being interviewed, and they were stating how fast the technology is moving, and how far is academia and the regulation going. So that's something that I will come up later on. But thank you very much for open and warming this discussion. So very simply, because we can talk about this for hours and hours, I'm going to leave you with four concepts that are very connected to call and naturally to ICOL. This ICOL system, right? Again, we're moving only onto the language learning system. It is intelligent call. That's what we said and how we studied it, those of us who studied it. It's a research field, naturally, that it is interdisciplinary, and combines the uses, they combine the methods and techniques to foster efficient computer aided language learning or computer assisted language learning. For Calico, which is the organization of in Canada, the biggest organization in call, it's a field that devotes its attention to the understanding about how call systems analyze language automatically and make them aware of language as such. So intelligent call for tonight or this evening would be the umbrella term. So what happens within iCall? You can study, and that's why I had in at the beginning of my presentation the concepts personalized learning, individualized feedback. And what iCall does is what you're seeing, perhaps more profoundly nowadays, with the power of chatbots and the power of AI generative systems, as you may know that it's also said on called. So basically, iCall offers the things that you see on the screen: develop text for learners, produce and make use of detailed learner models, allowing students to access and develop extra linguistic knowledge, and the sky's the limit. Within
Liliana,
iCall, yes, go ahead.
Liliana, sorry, I don't think you are sharing your screen now.
I'm sorry. I am very sorry about that, but I can just, oh, sorry. Yeah, it's that I stopped sharing it, but thank you very much for, I haven't advanced a lot, so no problem. So basically, coming back, this was the former slide, and Calico is the organization that I was referring to. Um, Basically, what I call embraces is like the full area, and within this full area, you can bring one branch that it's called expert systems. So I want you to know that expert systems don't have human capabilities. And I will represent you three more of this categorization or this typology, right? Expert systems, being one of the branches of ICOL, are potentially known by its knowledge base. So the power relies, as you see on the screen, on the domain stored in the knowledge base. So as you see, this is what ChatGPT has, a powerful expert system. What does it support? An inference reason procedure to solve problems. What happens is that ChatGPT not only has an expert system, it has many other gadgets and many other things, as you will see. But everything started, paying attention to expert systems. Expert systems, and you can pinpoint at the first bullet point, store a large body of knowledge about the learning of a language, such as mistakes, strategies, questions, and answers. So there is like a big encyclopedia, but with the focus on grammar. So it is a very, very grammatical, system-oriented technology. Then, what do you have in this same umbrella? ICOL, and remember, intelligent tutor systems. So what happens? What is the extra mile? That intelligent tutoring systems normally analyze the learning input to diagnose perhaps some recommendations, some language properties, and be able to select from the bank of resources some individualized feedback. So there is the component of personalized learning. One of the main differences between expert systems and ITS, sorry, relies on the kind of knowledge. Such knowledge, as you see on the last bullet point, is different from the required to an expert system. Expert systems can perform the task well, but intelligent tutor systems can teach it well. So the first doesn't have the second part. That's why it is a very nice complement. So what happens afterwards when you're dealing with call? You need to understand this in order to be moving and understand that this was not created in the in I mean in 2023. No, this has a story behind that. So I love these two researchers, Gamper and Knapp, and for them, natural language processing, I mean, and it still exists, of course. All technologies have a little bit of NLP, as we call it. So what happens? This area works with problems ranging from simultaneous multi-language translation and advanced search engine generators. So what happens? They are able to integrate diagrams, combine speech and other modalities at the same time. So the ecosystem is a little bit more powerful. NLP, as you see it, doesn't only refer to applications, but deal with methods, theories, and there you go, another little branch, which is a powerful branch. I say little in the way how I'm presenting it today, not diminishing its power, as machine learning, automating the construction, which indeed fosters the automatization and construction and the adaptation of machine dictionaries, which is something that you can see in the many search dictionary engines, to modeling human agent beliefs and desires, as you know, it would be the case of the following one that I'm going to display. So, a very good example of natural language processing, and there are many, Stanford, the MIT, but one that I really recommend you to have a look at that, it's the work uh, presented by this research group, right? It's the Natural Language Processing Group and Information Retrieval at UNED, the university where I studied. In fact, I studied this more than 8 years ago. Yes, more than 10 years ago. I got my PhD 10 years ago already, almost. So we were already studying these type of things. So what happened over there, this research group has analyzed, or started at that time, I'm talking about 2012, how word nets, lexical acquisition, the web as corpus, and word sense disambiguation from a lexical oriented perspective. How is that this was created? A very easy example to connect natural language processing and to keep, and I know that it's a lot of information, but for you to know how is that this evident still 10 or 20 years after, is the chatbots. Chatbots and AI powered language assistants are built upon natural language processing, and they can help learners, as you know, on real time interaction and immediate feedback. So that is imitating humans but not replacing them. They help, as it says, human agents by dealing with repetitive and time consuming communications. So this is a little bit of the history because I really wanted you to understand and to erase from this paradigm that some of you have may heard, your colleagues, your neighbors, that artificial intelligence is wow, the boom of today. No, I'm sorry to say that, but we have been studying this for more than 30 years, right? I don't exactly, you can ask ChatGPT when is that they started the first article published on artificial intelligence, and you will see that we both agree. Stephen Hawking, who cannot love Stephen Hawking? And its wise mind and perhaps generative thought, perhaps optimistic, sometimes pessimistic, saying that computers will overtake humans with AI within the next 100 years. And I don't remember when he said it, but it's still valid. But look at the second part, which really connects us in our last 10 minutes of presentation. When that happens, we will need to make sure the computers have goals aligned with ours. If it is certain that in the first part of the conversation I presented the history of a little bit of the history in COL, in ICOL, the next presentation, the next part of the presentation will walk you through the alignment that Stephen Hawking is representing and suggesting. How is that we can align our goals with the technology generation uh, device, perhaps? And how is that if we as humans not only adopt it, but adapt it for our own personal being? So I have, as you see, named the second part of the presentation, our present and our future, perhaps in a question mark. So what do we have at present as language teachers and learners? Because those of us who are language teachers will always be language learners. We have so many gaps and challenges. uh, we have an impact, a concomitant impact, a powerful impact, demonstrating that artificial intelligence is influencing the present of language learning by the many reasons that you can start listing now. And we have the road for adjusting, as I said, and as both of my participants said before, myriad possibilities to be adapting the role of teacher, the role of the student, but together with the roles that they adapted, that they mentioned, need to do adaptations or make possible adaptations. I would love to bring the role of the administration and the work of a and the role of directive uh, agents and stakeholders. Why? Basically, because if we succeed together, we will create better human beings and better language learners. But if, on the one hand, there is a teacher at an institution not having support to perhaps endorse these new techniques, new models, new strategies, even new activities, it's going to be a very, very non-paved road to be walking. Whereas if you are in an institution in which there is a common dialogue about integrating technologies, about regulating how is that you're going to be controlling this and many other uh, adaptations, the environment will be more healthy and the possibilities to grow would be myriad. How can not we talk today about plagiarism, right? And I don't remember my former participant that you said if we use technology wisely, yeah, we will be better, or we will enhance the many different things that we have available at just a click away, if I am paraphrasing yourself very well or semi well. And we need to be attentive to, I mean, I would not like to talk about plagiarism without talking about my fifth point right there, and it's the role and the power of designing good, intelligent, smart, efficient tasks for our learners. Today, I can even tell an artificial intelligence tool to create a presentation on artificial intelligence and the power of language learning. But I could have simply done that, and perhaps some of you would say, "Oh, interesting." Some other you we wouldn't even have noticed that I use any of the um, artificial intelligences, right? It could apply to a teacher, it could be applying to a student. But what is the role behind that? What would be the rationale behind using artificial intelligence wisely for the benefit of the teaching profession and for the benefit of learning as a professional and also as a human? So I guess that these debates need to be given and taken into the classroom. um, Plagiarism, perhaps it's going to be perhaps boosted, but plagiarism has always existed. So I guess that there is a little bit of more, or there should be a little bit of more focus on learner training to edit, to write, to really conceptualize that we have myriad tools to do plagiarism, right? And uh, to jump the norm out. But what is the purpose of that? Today we have artificial intelligence. In the past, we have many different other ways. So I guess that our role as teachers, and I know that we are um, in a discussion with teachers itself, we really need to be sitting down and in the groups or in the teacher. Some of you work at the school, some other work at the university. Why is that we should be designing better tasks that really contribute and diminish the impact or perhaps the risk to plagiarism, focusing specifically on these two, but not ignoring the others. There is still a big problem and a big gap, and it is access to technology, right? I don't know the actual coverage of Colombia in Colombia and the broadband access, but still, although Colombia is one of the most powerful interconnected countries in Latin America, still we have gaps. So still, with the new advent of AI, still we have to be conscious about students who don't have still access to these technologies. So the issue is a new technology or a new fashion or a new trend, but still, what is our role to care for the other populations if we are calling for diversity and inclusion? Last but not least, in this slide, and I'm going to be finishing in 4 minutes, it's the role of and the opportunity to be teaching the students and training students on prompts. In fact, this is already a job that exists in many different latitudes in the world. How can we, and applicable to language learning and teaching, how can we ask students and demand students and teach students to do good prompts? Good prompts equate, or it's perhaps, to my view, the result of a very good question made, right? And in the inquiry process, you can direct it to the critical learning process, how to foster good questions, how to teach students use these technologies, but focus on a really building good prompts, for example. What is our future? And I finish with that. As I said, we could be speaking for hours about repositioning and reconceptualizing the role. So far, we have seen both the history and perhaps some adaptations and dialogues that I hope that starting from this presentation, you can deal with your superiors, with your peers, with your colleagues, and really sitting down and thinking, how can I make better tasks and how do I design better tasks for my students that don't ignore technology. On the contrary, adopt technologies wisely. How important is to generate spaces for active listening and active dialogue and including students into the debate. Hey, are you using any AI in your daily life? Perhaps some of them use it for running, some of them use it for cooking, some of the students may use it for drawing. As the picture over there, it is artificial intelligence generated, and I only gave a prompt that illustrated one of the students who was attending a presentation of the artificial intelligence created this nice art, and I liked it and I included right. The role of content curation, for those of you who are not familiar with the term, every day, as David mentioned, every day there is something new technology, new thing. So it is our capacity to be able to select skills wisely, right? To select not only skills, sorry, to select materials, to cure, as like if we were art curators, to be able to know what to use from what is available in the market, what's available on the internet. If you are into Instagram users, and if you follow some artificial intelligence influencers or gurus, you're going to see, and perhaps you're going to be drowned in a myriad uh, water of vast resources. So how to implement those, uh, how to cure them before using it, and last but not least, how to create interdisciplinary projects in the classroom, how to at the same time, this is an example, uh, how to work together with the art teacher to make a build to make a writing project, how to work with the math or in the engineering teacher to perhaps generate a prompt or a expert or a type of AI generative system in the classroom that helps the students uh, you know be more cautious with their language production. So the road ahead, as conclusions for you to think, not that I'm going to be speaking, I've been speaking for a long time. Think about this: new skills, teacher and student, how to deal with the paradigm of acceptance and usage of this AI in the classroom. What is the role of trust for task and program design? How is the regulation and policy in our school and institution considering artificial intelligence? This has to be a debate, and actually paragraphs in the Reglamento de Estudiantes for those of you who are in the at the university setting, or for those of you who are at the school setting. These debates have to be given. How to deal with artificial intelligence plagiarism, but before that, before you punish, you train and you teach, right? So how to deal with the ecosystem of teaching and learning with the endorsement of AI, and how, as you were mentioning, Hugo, or I know Hugo left, but as Hugo was mentioning, how to be thinking about the opening of new courses, programs, and naturally research horizons. Thank you very much. And naturally, the credits of this presentation for the visual art. I didn't decide any of this. I just told the artificial intelligence, get me a minimalistic design that included this, and this, and I got this. But the rest of the ideas are naturally myself and the others that are credited. And I would love to share the references with you. Thank you very much. And that's it. Norbella, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Professor Liliana Cuesta, for your interesting, very interesting conversation and presentation. I'm sure that we have a lot of questions. I do have a lot of questions, but let's hear what the students have to say. If anyone has a question or a comment that you want to make, this is the moment. So while you prepare your questions, I was thinking about something, Liliana. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and this person was saying something like, ChatGPT is the super intelligent kid who wants to please his parents, providing all the answers to the questions that they make to them. And in that sense, what the person was discussing was that most of the time, ChatGPT brings like 80% of good references, but there's this little 20% in which they kind of create and make up those references which are not true. So how do you think we can deal with that in terms of education, and what should we do in the classroom with our students regarding these type of things that happen with ChatGPT that we do
Excellent.
cannot trust
Yeah,
100% what they
yeah, excellent
translate.
question. Well, first, I am very happy that you mentioned this, because there is the whole truth is not, and will, I guess, that will be never revealed by expert systems or AI systems. So I'm very glad that you commented in this group, and this is what we should be doing with all the groups that we have. So to make students aware and the community aware that there are mistakes there, right? I have also tried it with many different things, and I have even corrected them, the system. And then the system is going to say, thank you very much. I will try next time to bring you a very, because the system is also trained to be polite. Remember my conversation on the first hand. But how to be dealing with this, apart from the awareness raising with our students, is to really, as I said, I go back to my original point, is to have, from the teaching perspective and from the task design, always keep in mind and have the possibility to, for the students to use ChatGPT as an initial source, right? But I don't think that we should be uh, changing or transcending or elevating the power of ChatGPT to our discourse making or analysis or written text or our rhetorics, because ChatGPT is limited. Although, it's a powerful tool for information, for even information raising and information and collection of information. But the threat of arguments, I don't think that it's as powerful. I've tried it, and I would say, if we go to those of us who studied writing, it doesn't really get to the level of rhetoric in all sense and argumentative writing. Perhaps on a very basic level of argumentative writing, but what the I would say it is merely descriptive, right? Informational. If we're talking about genres, yeah, informational, descriptive, perhaps a little bit of argumentation, but I don't think that we will have it at the level that we know, those of us who work with writing, we will have it, because there are mistakes. And not only because of that, but because of the power of the interface, the limitation it has as to argumentation. However, to deal with that in the classroom, as I said, let's make and let's give the students to make the possibilities to do powerful outlines, right? That really make the thread, if we are talking about writing, uh, and that we can really visualize where is that the students are really making their positioning. I haven't tried chat GPT for making outlines yet, but I have tried it to make other different types of text, and still the argumentation it's good, but I wouldn't say it's perfect.
That's good for us, right?
Of course, that's it. I think, as Hawking said, I don't think that we are going to go on a detriment of the usage of technologies. Let's walk away, let's work together to see how is that, we can do it better. But if you tell me some people are really pessimistic, I'm not. I'm like, okay, there is a new technology and we have dealt with that in different ways. Perhaps the experiences and everybody, it's like with the pandemic. Oh, we are all going to die. No, I don't think that we are going to be replaced as teachers. We are not going to be replaced as humans. There are certain jobs that have been replaced, yes. Like, look at the chatbots. They have reduced the capital human on the people who work in call centers, right? Yes, there are certain ones, but teachers, don't worry about that. I am not worried about that. And good teachers will never be replaced. That's why we have to be good teachers.
Exactly. Okay, I don't know if anyone has a question here. Hugo has here a comment.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna give. Okay, guys, you need to. I'm looking at the chat now. You need to fill in the attendance form, and then David says, "I got around. You're welcome. I'm going to excuse. It's time to go. Whoa, no problem." ChatGPT is limited, and at some point will be even more restricted. Yes, and especially, you know what, Hugo, I didn't mention that because it's just like a very, very tiny talk, but also because, as every technology, they're gonna give us the sampling and then they're gonna charge us. It's like YouTube. I hope this is being recorded, Norbella. And when I
Yes.
go to Valle someday, we are gonna laugh and we're gonna say we announce it. It's like with YouTube. We all started using YouTube, and now, oh my God, these ads, this premium all the time with the Spotify. So
Annoying.
I think like that.
Annoying all the time, you know.
Yeah, the
Very.
access to powerful chats will be charged. There you go. We were on the same page.
Okay, I don't know if anyone else has a question or comment.
Not even to forget that the access to these powerful tools will be increase the gap. Talking about education and equity, I think that the gap will be even bigger and bigger with these new forms of technologies.
Yes, Hugo. Yes, yes, yes. I briefly mentioned that it's the breach that, and the responsibility, social responsibility. We cannot turn ourselves as if we were diving on a pool and say, oh, ChatGPT is the response to all of our problems, like the lamp of Aladdin. No, we really need to look at and still considering those populations who don't have still access to any technology, right? And that we have, as I said in the presentation, I don't know as of today. I knew it a couple of months ago when I wrote a paper that I would be very happy to share with you guys on online education in Latin America. And although we are, as I said, one of the powerful and the most prolific in broadband connection, we are not with full coverage. So start by that, and then the list is long. Okay, so I guess that this is pretty much to the
I
end,
would say
right,
so, Liliana.
Norbella?
We really would like to thank you very much for your very nice, very interesting presentation. I mean,
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much. I'm glad, guys, you like it. Melissa, Lilibeth, and everybody, and to you both, thank you for inviting me. And I hope that, we have another time to converse about these little things which are making a difference in our daily work.
we will. Yeah, and hopefully,
Yeah.
as you say, face to face.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course, here or there, whenever. And don't forget to give me the poster. I
And
would love
don't
to have that
forget to
memory
send
up
that.
to date.
I will.
Okay,
Okay, Liliana.
thank you.
Thank you again.
Very much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Welcome.
I live now. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Bueno, yo quería pasar a despedirme. Me voy otra vez para el diploma.
Bueno, participación en la charla de hoy. Yo voy a dejar de grabar un momentito. Listo.